What is up, everybody? Welcome back to 9 to 5 Gamers, and today we are having our board game chit chat, where I punch out chits while we have a little chat, but sometimes I am chitless. So, I don't have any chits today, but again, that has to do everything with my self-control, because I always want to pop the chits out of my games as soon as I get them, the little pieces, but I digress. But what we are going to chat about today is our topic of conversation, rather, is that there were a lot of really good games last year. I didn't get every game that came out last year. Obviously, there's some that aren't going to make this list, but I want to rank all the games that I purchased in 2022. I didn't put every single one on my list because there were some that were just not that great. For example, Hand to Hand Wombat I thought was an okay game, but obviously it's not going to make it on this list. But I'm going to go ahead and start the list now. All right. Oof. Blood on the Clock Tower. Easy. Twilight Inscription, Endless Winter. You guys already know how I feel about Endless Winter, but I need to try it again. Isle of Skye Big Box was an okay experience, but First Rat was far better. Flamecraft or Turing Machine. Flamecraft. I like Turing Machine by myself, but Flamecraft's just a better game. Cat in the Box or Beer and Bread. I liked both of these fine. Beer and Bread was cool. Cat in the Box was fun. I think I've played Cat in the Box a lot more than Beer and Bread is on its way out of the collection anyway, so it's going to be Cat in the Box. Hidden Leaders is so good. I played that so much that I feel like I've played it out. I'm talking about, like, I've played that game at least 20, 30 times, and I think I've gotten my experience out of it. It's good. Get on board. I don't feel like I've played this game out, but I don't think I've played it nearly as much, so. But which one do I prefer? I really like Hidden Leaders. That's a fun game. I'd say that's a hidden gem, an underrated game that not a lot of people play. Trekking Through History or Ahoy. These are both great games. I've really enjoyed Trekking Through History a lot more. I would rather play Revive over Three Sisters, which Three Sisters, I can't believe that it just came out last year. I feel like it was out earlier than that. Heat Pedal to the Metal, easy choice. Dungeons, Dice, and Danger is great, but definitely Heat Pedal to the Metal. Vagrant Song or Splendor Duel. I really like Vagrant Song. Star Wars Clone Wars or Planted. Planted is another underrated game. That's a Phil Walker Harding game that's really good. Clone Wars is really cool. Pandemic system game. Probably Clone Wars. I think I played out Planted already. Mosaic is really good, and so is Woodcraft. I think if I had my choice, it would probably be Mosaic. Encyclopedia is an interesting game. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, but it is still solid. Green Team Wins is a great, probably one of the best party games. Just really cool, fun game that, asks some silly questions, and you see how you kind of. I think I've played this and got more out of Green Team Wins than that one. Caesar's Empire is great, but Artisans of Splendid Vale is probably the hit from 2022. Tenpenny Parks, Skate Summer. Skate Summer was good, but I would rather play Tenpenny Parks. Caesar Rome in 20 minutes. That's a solid game. Masters of the Universe is really good too, but Masters is just a lot more game. Twilight Inscription or Blood on the Clock Tower. That's easy. Twilight Inscription or Ready Set Bet. Ready Set Bet is just fun, man. First Rat or Flamecraft. This is actually a very difficult choice. Flamecraft or First Rat. Okay, Flamecraft Deluxe Edition is phenomenal. First Rat is a great experience, but I'll probably give it to Flamecraft. I think I would rather play First Rat than Turing Machine. First Rat is super good. Don't underestimate that game. I think that's an underrated game. Turing Machine, Isle of Skye. Turing Machine or Isle of Skye. Turing Machine. Hidden Leaders or Cat in the Box. Cat in the Box is probably a little bit better. Hidden Leaders is better than Beer and Bread. Did I already do this comparison? Or maybe it was a different comparison. But Get On Board. No, it was Get On Board in that one. Let me see. Get On Board is staying in my collection. I really like that game. Trekking or Revive? Revive is really fun. Trekking is a little more fun than Three Sisters. Ahoy, for sure. Oh, Heat, Pedal to the Metal, easy. Vagrant Song, easy. Splendor Duel, actually, is better. Mosaic is great. Star Wars Clone Wars is cool. I really like that, but Mosaic is just a better game. Woodcraft or Star Wars? I feel like Star Wars is just so simple that I would rather play Star Wars than Woodcraft, but Woodcraft is definitely a better game. A lot more, I think, work went into that one. Artisans, definitely. Caesars, definitely. Probably Masters of the Universe. Surprisingly, Caesar Rome in 20 Minutes or 10 Penny Parks. Man, that's a tough choice. I really like 10 Penny Parks, man. I think I'm an outlier, though, because I think that most people find the game to be okay. I just really like everything about it. I there have been people that have said that it's not a very good game. I understand that, but I think it's a phenomenal game. But I'm gonna go with Caesar because that's so quick. Blood on the Clock Tower, of course. Flamecraft over Ready Set Bet. First Red is really good. Ready Set Bet over Turing Machine, yeah. Twilight Inscription. Over Turing Machine, probably Twilight Inscription. I really want to get a better play of that game. Endless Winter, I think I would rather play over Turing Machine, even though Turing Machine's really, really good. But it's just like a solo game. I gotta play Endless Winter solo. Revive. Trekking Through History. Ahoy? Or Cat in the Box? Probably Ahoy. Cat in the Box over Three Sisters. Three Sisters maybe over Hidden Leaders. Heat over Mosaic. Vagrant Song over Mosaic for sure. Splendor Duel. No, Mosaic. Splendor Duel over Woodcraft, though. Woodcraft over Dungeons, Dice, and Danger. These two are a good comparison because I feel like they're moderately the same score-wise. I feel like they're both like 7s for me. Dungeons, Dice, and Danger is fun. But I like Star Wars. Star Wars is a really good game. Probably Planted. Artisans over Masters. Caesars over Masters. Masters over Green Team wins because I feel like party games are great, but they don't do like, they're not like top 10 material, you know what I mean? Like they have their function. I feel like they're very niche. Like they are good for when you have a lot of people at the house, but even then it's kind of like if I have a lot of people at the house, we're playing Blood on the Clock Tower for sure. Caesar Room in 20 Minutes, 10 Penny Parks for sure. Probably Green Team wins over Skate Summer. Ooh, this is a good comparison because I feel like these two games are both pretty good, but I think Skate Summer is a better game than Encyclopedia. Encyclopedia was okay for me, especially with all the hype that it got. It was like, oh my gosh, it's like gonna kill Wingspan. I'm like, why does everything always have to attack? Like, just compare it to games that it's like, not, because it's not even like Wingspan at all. I never understood that one. That was so weird. Blood on the Clock Tower, easy. This one's not as easy. Revive and Flamecraft are both really good. I think Revive has settled a little for me, and I feel like it's starting to back up into the more unplayed side. So I would rather play Flamecraft and First Rat, actually. First Rat, sleeper hit. Watch. It's going to be high up on this list because that game is great, man. I don't know why. I think maybe because it kind of reminds me of that rat game as kids. I'm going to do a list on that. I'm going to do like a top 10 list from like my childhood. But man, what was it called? Was it called Mousetrap? Something like that. There's like, I don't know. Ready, Set, Bet or Revive. If people are over the house, Ready Set Bet is fun, man. You need the player group for it. Forgive me, I'm a little sleepy. Twilight Inscription or Revive. Twilight Inscription? Yes. Revive over Endless Winter. Trekking Through History is super good. Ahoy. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, little one. No! Let's be honest. Endless Winter. Turing Machine. Isle of Skye. And it's not... Three Sisters is not a bad game. I think Fleet is my favorite, but it's not a bad game. But I don't know how far up it's going to make it on this list. Dang. Heat or Artisans. I really like Heat. That game is so good. That was one of those, they hyped it up, and it was actually kind of worth the hype. I had like my minor gripes, but they're very minor. Artisans or Heat? Man, this is tough. Artisans. I'm going to go with my gut. I'd rather play Heat than Caesars. Vagrant Song is good. That Caesars, easy choice there. Masters or Mosaic? Probably Masters. I would rather play Caesar. Tenpenny Parks or Mosaic? Probably Mosaic. Splendor Duel or Tenpenny Parks? Tenpenny Parks or Splendor? Dag. Man, Tenpenny Parks or Splendor? What would I rather play? Tenpenny. Splendor. Woodcraft. Star Wars. Planted, actually. Yeah, green team wins. Dungeons, Dice, and Danger. Skate Summer. Encyclopedia. Probably Encyclopedia. Woo! I knew this one was coming. This is literally it. Like, these are the monsters from last year, from the ones that I've collected. Blood on the Clock Tower and Artisans of Splendid Vale are very good. Artisans of Splendid Vale, I think, is super underrated. But it's such a cool dungeon crawler, man. I think because of the box art, there's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna pass this game up, and the art isn't bad. It's just very bright, colorful. It doesn't resonate with everyone. I know that for a fact. And I was trying to do an in-depth look on that. Is looking at board game covers. It's kind of like you would look at like Artisans and you'd look at Blood Rage and just reality. I think most men would probably rather play Blood Rage. There's some who would probably want to play Artisans. Artisans I almost got rid of simply because I looked at it and went, man, I don't know if I'm too into this. I kind of bought it for my wife to play, and because it said it was going to be kind of like an adventure dungeon crawlery. And it was cute, and I was like, my wife would appreciate a game like this. And then I ended up really liking it because I thought it was a little underrated. It's so good, but man, a good game of Blood on the Clock Tower. That's a great comparison. Flamecraft or Heat? It's going to be Heat. Just for me, better fun factor wise. Flamecraft or Vagrant Song? Flamecraft was so good. I don't think Flamecraft is a very deep game, though. That's the thing. It's like it's a game that you play, and after a couple of playthroughs, you're kind of like, oh, I know what I have to do here. You know what I mean? It's not like that thinky. It's kind of like you kind of already know what you have to do. Everything is already kind of predetermined. You flip over those little cards, and then you sitting there going, okay, everybody's going to go after this card. I'm going to go after this one. Oh, somebody took it from me, so now I've got all these resources I can't do anything with. It could just be down to kind of like who goes first. But it's not a very deep game. That's why I think I would pick Vagrant Song. Flamecraft takes a very long time to play, but it's such a deluxe experience with the deluxe edition that I really enjoyed. If you don't have the deluxe edition, you wouldn't think about those things. I think just as a game, I really like Flamecraft. Do I put Flamecraft over Caesar's? Caesar's Empire is good, man. That's another. This list might as well just be underrated games. But Flamecraft or Caesar's? I think I'm gonna go Flamecraft. Yeah. And I would rather play Caesars than First Rat, but I would rather play First Rat than Masters for sure. And Ready Set Bet over Masters, Masters over Twilight, Caesar over Twilight. These are two monster games that are interesting. Mosaic or Twilight. Probably rather play Mosaic than Penny Park. Twilight Inscription or Splendor. Twilight? Revive, Trekking, Splendor. Woodcraft or Ahoy? Woodcraft. Ahoy over Star Wars. Star Wars. I think Star Wars over Cat in the Box. Planted. Cat in the Box over Planted. Endless Winter over Planted. Turing Machine over Planted. Isle of Skye Big Box over Planted. Planted over Three Sisters. Green Team wins over Three Sisters. Skate Summer. Three Sisters over Encyclopedia, though. Hidden Leaders over Encyclopedia. Get on Board over Encyclopedia. Maybe Encyclopedia over Beer and Bread. Beer and Bread. Let's go back to our game review, and let's talk about this list. So, top 10 here are going to be, well, just missing out on the number 11 spot is Mosaic. Mosaic is a fine game. I really enjoy playing it. It just takes a long time to set up, and that keeps me from playing the game, but I would play it if it was set up and ready to go most of the time. Caesar, my number 10 is Caesar Sees Rome in 20 minutes. Small box game, very small footprint. Like, it's a tiny game. It doesn't take up a ton of space. And you teach the game and play the game usually under 20 minutes. Like, it lives up to the name for sure. And it's a fun strategic game. I think that that game is actually very, very good for the amount of time it takes. Number 9 is going to be Masters of the Universe. I really enjoy Masters of the Universe. I think it's a fantastic game. I think I gave it like a 9. It's a little harder to get to the table, so right now I'm probably sitting at like an 8.5. My scores always adjust over time, but I think that it's okay to really like a game when it comes out, because if you really like a game when it comes out and because you're hyped about it, you give it a high score. The thing is that as long as you're playing it, you're always going to give it that score. But then as time progresses, scores need to be adjusted. I think that that's very true about content creators. And I think that any content creator who goes back and says, hey, look, this was my score then, here's where it's at now, I think those are the best content creators, because that's the reality of things. I would hate to give Masters of the Universe a 9, right, and then go, it's the best game, and then have somebody come play it and then go, I don't know, man, it just wasn't as good as I thought it was when you gave it a 9. Adjust as you go. Like, if you have, like, your first impressions are like a 9, that's fine, but then adjust as you go. I would say Masters of the Universe is somewhere between an 8 and a 9 now, but it's really good. It's still very, very good. I enjoy playing it. Just hard to get to the table. Ready Set Bet is my number 8, and Ready, Set, Bet is an amazing game if you've never played it. It's a 2D, 3D, 2D, 3D, 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 I don't recommend people buying it unless you know you have the player group for it. Because remember, it plays up to 9 people, and one of those people is going to be rolling some dice. So you could always use the app and then play with 9. But for me, I think it's a great game. Very group dependent though. Like if you don't have a fun group to play it with, and you don't have people that are like, "Come on, Daddy needs a new pair of shoes." Like you don't have people like that in your group, it's not as fun. So Ready Set Bet, very group dependent, very fun if you find the right group. Number 7 is First Rat. I told y'all, First Rat is so good, man. You really got to play that game. I think I don't think everybody will love that game, but it's definitely a game you got to try because it's such a unique game. Like at first when you look at it, it looks a little bit like a Candyland. You're just collecting resources, building rockets, but the whole mechanic with the rats and how they work, and you can spread them out and take multiple resource spots at the same time and gain a ton of resources. Super cool, man. Super cool. I really like First Rat. It's a great game. Number 6, Caesar's Empire. And that's always going to be high because Caesar's Empire is a fantastic game. I have it right here. It's literally on my table because I just did a list and it was in the list. But this game, amazing game, man. I really love Caesar's Empire. It's definitely, out of the games of 2022, it's definitely in the 6th spot. Like it deserves to be there. Top 10. But I don't think it's like number 1 though, for sure. My number 5 is Flamecraft, because Flamecraft is just an amazing game. If you were lucky enough to get the deluxe edition, that's the way to go, man. Metal coins, wooden resources. Oh my gosh, that game is beautifully produced, and it's a solid game. It's a solid game with great artwork. Don't have much to say about it. I do think that it begins to become a bit samey after a while. So it may need some like expansions or things that they might do to it to keep it going. But honestly, I think the game is fine the way it is. But it does get a bit samey. Vagrant Song, great game, man. Like I've been able to play that. I play it solo 2-handed because it's basically a 2 to 4 player game. From what I've heard, I don't know if it was a hot take, but I heard somebody say that it was unplayable at 4, but I've never played it at 4. But I have the group to play it with at 4, so I just need to get it to the table. But the thing is that group is currently playing Artisans of Splendid Vale, and we're playing through some campaign games, so it's going to take a while to get to Vagrant Song. But Vagrant Song is very, very good. I really enjoy that game. My number 3, which is more of like, I think it came out late towards the end of the year and nobody really got their hands on it till this year. Like I just got my hands on it this year, but it is technically a 2022 game. That's Heat Pedal to the Metal. That is a great game. I love Heat Pedal to the Metal. Ever since I started playing it, I was like, man, I just want to play this like with everybody and see. I met a guy just this past Sunday, and he told me he saw my channel and he was like, "Yo," he's like, "You got Heat Pedal to the Metal? I can't find that game anywhere." I was like, "Want to play it? Let's get together." So yeah, Heat Pedal to the Metal, really good game. Believe the hype. My number 2 is Artisans of Splendid Vale, and that's because that game is great. Nikki Valens and her team did an amazing job with that game, and even though it for sure doesn't scream theme, like the I guess relatability, just because like when you look at this, you know, I'm one of those guys that goes after games like that, like Blood Rage, Root, Dune Imperium. Root is kind of cute, but if you look at my collection, a lot of these games are, you know, these darker. This is a very light themed game. Like the theme of it looks very light, but inside, man, is a whole nother monster inside that board game. That is a great game. You really do got to try it. I think it's overlooked and underrated for sure. And my number 1, can you guys guess what that is from last year? That's right, Blood on the Clock Tower. Oh, look, I predicted it with the purple. Well, actually, Chit Chat, I always have purple lights for Chit Chat. But yeah, Blood on the Clock Tower, man, that's such a good game. That is the game that anytime I go out, somebody wants to play it. We had a group meetup, hang out at a house, and we did like a barbecue, and we're there to just hang out, play some games, talk. But they told me, yo, bring some board games to play. I brought Blood on the Clock Tower, and somebody asked, they're like, yo, did you bring Blood on the Clock Tower? I was like, I did bring it. We played from, I think, maybe like 8 till 10 Blood on the Clock Tower, and the people that were there that weren't playing but watching, they loved it so much that for Father's Day, he said, hey, to his son, he told his son, hey, buy me that Blood on the Clock Tower game. And I was like, yeah, because it's so good. It is such a good game, man. And I think that I think a lot of people would have a great time playing it. It reminds me a lot of Mafia. So if you have a group who's into social deduction, into Mafia and Werewolf and things like that, this game is just phenomenal. You do need a really good storyteller. But if you can get a very good game master, the GM, you'll be fine. But Blood on the Clock Tower is my #1 game from last year. And that's it for today's video. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. In the comment section, tell me what was your favorite 2022 game release from last year. And let me know any games from 2022 that are not on my list. I would love to know those because I would love to get them into my collection. And maybe there was one that I missed out on. So let me know. I couldn't buy them all, but send me your list or send me what games you liked from 2022. Hope you guys enjoyed this game. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I'll check you guys out later. Catch you on the flippity flip. Y'all already know the dealio.